So I want you to really think about this. You've given him years of your life. You've given him most of your money. You've given him your heart. And for good reason. This guy was incredible. He could do magic tricks. He brought a little girl back to life. And he knew everything about you. And now he's dead. Like, it's just over. Yesterday you saw him and you talked to him, and talking to him was like speaking to God himself. Today it's just darkness. It's silence. I mean, you've had days like that, right? Maybe weeks or months where you felt like God was absent, like life was dark, like the silence was deafening. So what did they do? Well, Luke tells us, he says that the women who had come with Jesus from Galilee, they followed Joseph, and they saw the tomb, and they saw how Jesus' body was laid in it. And then they went home, and they prepared spices and perfumes. But they rested on the Sabbath in obedience to the commandment. I mean, this is amazing to me. Everything had gone wrong. It had all unraveled. And they chose obedience. They went home and they rested. They chose to be faithful to a God who they knew was always faithful to them. And it seemed like God had left them. It seemed like everything had gone dark and the world was silent, but they knew that God never leaves, that God is always faithful. And so they chose obedience. And they chose to believe that in their obedience, God would show up. It must have been a hard day, though. There's nothing they could do. They could just sit. They had their own thoughts to drive them crazy, and it was just silent. But they sat in it. They chose to be obedient and to believe that God was faithful. So I want to end Holy Week here with a poem in your devotional. It's a poem called What to Do in the Darkness. And I want to encourage you just to read it slowly and just to kind of sit in it, because sometimes it feels like things have gone dark, like God is silent. That Saturday must have been horrible. But God is faithful, and Sunday is coming.